Cookie puts in a 1:19.1, which is a very rapid time across the line for King Bart, and it is provisional pole, a 1:19.0. It is King Bart who takes pole position here for actually the first time this season. And it's lights out and away we go in Italy, and we've got a big incident here. We've got a McLaren round. Nobody's facing the wrong way already. Oh, and Cookie's gone wide there in the AlphaTauri and lost it, and into the wall goes Cookie. Front wing damage. We were just saying how easy it is to make a mistake around here. Oh, and Tori with a big tank slapper there. Did they manage to hold it? Yes. We'll see where Tori is on the circuit, just on the back stretch now. Wait, hang on. Why is T-Keg out ahead of King Bart? I'm not sure what happened there, but T-Keg leads this race from Tori. They're both ahead of King Bart. And there's the collision. King Bart and Tori have come together under the safety car. We are green here in Monza, and it is going to be many, many cars wide. Yeah, but T-Keg does lead from King Bart, who is now showing 13 seconds of penalty. And remember, the T-Keg with that front wing end plate damage.
It's 1 and 3. King Bart right behind T-Keg. You could not fit anything between them going into Lesmo.
T-Keg has no pace. He's got no pace in that Ferrari. The wing damage is too much. And King Bart takes the lead. King Bart wins in Italy, but we don't know if that's the case. This will be settled in the stewards' room. Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to round 4 from FRS Division 5. And, it could be chaotic, this one. McNaughton's here, probably hoping for chaotic.
Oh, I am hoping for chaos, madness, and a lot more names on the naughty list. I'm telling you that.
It has been one hell of a weekend. We've just finished our own race in Division 6, where I have largely escaped. And I think escaped is the right word for it, with a 5th place, because I was really, really slow around this particular racetrack. And a tough one for you as well. But take it from us, this is not an easy circuit at all. We should be getting underway with qualifying probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, all going well. And there's a few changes around these parts, is there not? Because we have a couple of drivers who are moving on from Division 5.
Yep, indeed. We've got, first of all, our championship leader and multi-race winner King Bart being promoted up into the mighty Division 2. Also changing from the Renault, I believe, to Racing Point.
Yes, indeed.
And as well as that, we've got Tori leaving Racing Point, signing for a Division 4 Ferrari team. So our two arguably of the faster racers in this division have moved upwards and onwards. But who have we got to replace them, Zord?
Well, we have two newcomers to this division. So in the Renault, we have, I don't know his race number, but I do know Daniel Gilligan, the lead commentator on Division 1 races normally, is stepping in this for the remainder of this season in Division 5. He has taken over that Renault from King Bart, and we saw King Bart yesterday leading the race up in Division 2 before there was a very, very unusual incident with a teleporting safety car that ended up disqualifying King Bart from that race. That was none of his fault at all. Replacing Tori in the Racing Point is October Foth, who joins us from Division 4 and signs for that Racing Point team. So we welcome along both Dan Gilligan and October Foth to the Division 5 stable. And what it means is that the Division 5 Drivers' Championship looked a little bit like this, with the top two in the championship no longer here. It is all to play for.
Indeed. Ice Kid Man, week 1 in... where were we week 1 now?
Brazil.
Brazil, showing a lot of pace around that Brazilian Grand Prix, but we've seen a big fight back from T-Keg in the Ferrari, and Hummersep, after his Monza race, showing just how well driving clean and safely can do. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a big podium finish from Hummersep if he can continue that here.
Yeah, so suddenly with the top two removed from contention, this championship battle is wide open. The result of the last race, by the way, was Tori with the victory, King Bart in second place, and Hummersep with a third place finish once penalties were applied. T-Keg was hit with a penalty for safety car infringements, which dropped him down to 4th place in the final reckoning, despite crossing the line second, that was then first, that was then fourth. It got complicated in Monza. The Constructors' Championship looks a little bit like this. Racing Point now on top.
Yeah, but yet again, very close between Racing Point and Renault, having a few drivers swap between them. We'll see if they can continue to dominate or if the Ferrari and the Mercedes can catch them up a bit.
Indeed. So the drivers just going for their installation lap in practice. So we should be getting underway for qualifying very, very soon. And I think by the looks of things, we've got 18 drivers on the grid. But
Indeed.
Before we get to that nugget, we have our favourite section of the show, do we not?
Well, my favourite at least. I don't know about you.
Hang on. I've done a bad thing.
Oh, don't ruin the segment.
There's the segment. I forgot to turn my intro video off. I was silly. There we go.
Yes, the Nuggets naughty list. After 3 rounds, Evil Steel way out in front with the top of the table naughtiness. 12 penalties, 43 seconds lost, followed by both Alfa Romeos. I don't know what's going on at Alfa Romeo, Zord. And then my favourite driver of all, Roy Weller. I'm expecting great performance from him again this race, and I'm not saying that in any way to curse him like I've done the last 3 races.
He says this every week, and poor old Roy Weller has an awful time every week, largely, and I think it's Nuggets' fault. Exactly. There we go. So what can we say about this? Well, obviously, the Alfa Romeos have struggled a bit for outright pace. And I think most of those penalties are time penalties for corner cutting, which is a lot more difficult to do around the streets of Baku with walls right at the side of the circuit. But on the flip side of that, it's a lot easier to, take the front wing off or worse.
Indeed, or worse. Interestingly, here enough, as we said, we're going round everybody. We've got 19 drivers now in effect into the race. Hercules was the one missing earlier on, which I'm sure Racing Point fans out there have been glad to see him jump in. I'm not sure who the missing. I believe it's Obsidian. We've got Obsidian this week.
It looks like it's the Williams of Dennis the Great who is unable to make it again.
Yeah, but we saw Dennis the Great last week, who had a mixed bag. So it'll be all on Ice Kid Man's shoulders again here to get the points for Williams.
So there's the naughty list done. And we've got... the guys are just doing their installation lap at the moment, which is why we're keeping you on the screen. In terms of the penalties, obviously this feature was quite... I think it was originally designed to be like what we'll do is we'll just track who's getting the most corner cutting penalties.
Yeah.
Because that'll be useful information for people to see, if I can cut that out, look how much time I'm losing in total. Yeah. What has actually happened is Division 5 has more combined penalty points from the stewards than Division 6, 7 and 8 put together.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that I've cursed the whole division, because that would be stupid. But they've at least gave us a reason to have a naughty list. Because it would have been really boring if nobody had any penalties.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's made it quite difficult for me to track this, and I'm sort of going, how do I add the penalties that come from the stewards on and all that sort of thing? So it has been rowdy in Division 5, and we come to what is probably the rowdiest circuit on the calendar in Baku. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, I'm expecting good qualifications from Cookie Monster, followed by him yeeting the car into a tunnel, into a wall third corner, as he usually does. Roy Weller will get off to a good start, and then I'll say Roy Weller's doing really well so far, and then he'll crash. I
thought I was supposed to be the one doing the cursing. I don't know what's happening here.
I know. I mean, Roy Weller's best decision might be to miss a race just to get off the naughty list.
As I said, we've never done the naughty list to try and put people down. It's just an exercise in people seeing that they're the ones losing more time than anybody else in the division. And we should maybe cut that out. A lot of Evil Steel's penalties, by the way, as the trolls start singing. Viking Cop, welcome along. But yeah, a lot of the...
this thing and why is McChicken on voice?
I forgot that it talks to us now. What was my train of thought?
We were saying the point of the naughty list is more to give drivers a chance to see how they could possibly improve their racing by giving up almost needless penalties that they could prevent going forward.
Indeed. So what have we seen so far? Well, we've seen King Bart finish first, and second, and King Bart is no longer here in Division 5. So that leaves things pretty much wide open now for someone with Tory gone as well. This is wide open for someone to stamp their own authority on this division. And I look at this now, and sure, we've seen T-Keg and Ice Kid Man have the best outright pace. But what we're about to see from our Baku track guide, which I'm going to bring up for you in a moment, is that it is very, very easy to put it in the wall here.
It is. So it's definitely one of these tracks where a driver like Harringzord, who's notorious not so much perhaps on the pace of things, but very clean and smooth driving, if you can avoid some of the dangers in the first few corners, could get a very good result here.
So here is your track guide. This is the Baku city circuit around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital of Baku. It's got 20 corners, it's 6 kilometers long, and there are walls right at the side of the circuit. Lots of 90-degree left and right-handers as well, where you need to be quite light on the brakes. See how narrow the track is as you come through the infamous castle section. And, well, I think, to be honest, McNugget, from what we've seen from the races so far, this thing on the screen in just a moment's time, we might see a lot of over the course of this race.
Yes, and I think everybody I know in Division 3, I don't think they particularly did very well of leaving the safety car a lot of space, but I think the stewards have made their statements very clear to all drivers. They've got certain expectations right now of what to do behind safety cars, and if you're going to get a safety car or two, it's going to be here in Baku.
So, Daft in the Haas is the first one out onto the circuit this evening. And we get a chance to have a quick opening look at this street circuit. The front wing budget across all of the divisions must be excessive to say the least. If you're sensible, you'll do what I did in the Division 6 race and take your front wing off at the very last turn in your pit window when you're about to come into the pits anyway. And we've got a Mercedes, actually, with Mahoney, I think, actually in the escape road at the end of the pit lane and having to do the very unfortunate Austin Powers 19-point turn.
The only good news is there appears to be no damage to the car, so Mahoney may be just getting that jitter out the way nice and quickly.
Well, if you're going to do that, do it early and do it now, because we won't have to worry about that. If that's the only time we're going to do that, then there we go. We're going to keep it nice and clean. So, 19 cars. This is as full a grid as I think we've had. I don't think we've had the full 20 yet in Division 5.
No, we've always been missing one or two. But 19 ways to crash, let's put it that way.
These are the fast left and the fast right. This is where I took my front wing off very smartly just before I came to the pit lane. If I was going to do it, I might as well do it at the point where I lose the least possible time.
Exactly. Doing it right before you pit is the ideal time to do it, indeed.
Now, safety cars are, of course, expected around here. It's very difficult to get around here without anybody crashing or without people coming to blows between two cars. We see Daft run slightly wide there in turn one. The problem being that there is a long, long straight for those safety car restarts, and it can get a little messy.
Indeed, not only that, but you have to make sure that you give the safety car enough space between if you're in first place, as it does have to take a wee bit of a loop into the pit lane, so it will slow you down by force if you don't give it enough space. So drivers really going to need to make sure that they do this.
Got a Renault in the wall at the back of the circuit. That is Karna. And I think everything is okay. We're pretty much stopped on the circuit, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Just about getting up to speed now, so we can go back to Daft's lap as we come towards the infamous castle section. Now look how thin this is. So easy to get that wrong, and I promise you, I think I was the slowest person of anyone in any division through that section of the circuit.
Daft has timed this lap out very well. A lot of fresh air in front of Daft and Arif, so some good opportunity here to get a set a quick time with no traffic in the way.
So this is the final proper corner that you need to brake for, and then it's get on the ERS, and there's a long way back home now. Do this fast left and this fast right with the walls either side of you. Don't want to run too wide and understeer at the wall because it will be big trouble. And it will be Daft in car number 84, the Haas, to set the first time of the session. DRS wide open there. You can see the rear wing opening up like a letterbox to give him a bit more speed on the straight. And a 140.16 is probably not going to be as quick as we'll see, because that was even slower than my qualifying time, which I promise you was slow. 41.0 for Jock James. Take a look at Mahoney, who's just towards the back end of the circuit now. We'll see some cars come across the line, and Roy Weller goes quickest with a 140.5 for McLaren. TK slowest of all at the moment, which is very, very surprising. Must have been a mistake on that lap. Now, of course, keep an eye on Obsidian as well, who we saw in Spain, has a lot of pace in that Red Bull. But we didn't see him last time out in Monza. As Hummersep goes P3 on a 141.3, and Dan Gilligan in the Renault pops up into second place on a 140.6. Here comes Mahoney to the line. Rear wing wide open, keeping it as straight as possible to not lose too much time. And Mahoney goes third on a 140.8. Ice Kid Man coming towards the line now.
Oh, and we've got Roy Weller facing the wrong way here. Just having to do the Austin. Bit more space at this point to get the car turned around, but he is in sector 2, just obviously trying to let these cars go past him and not interfere with their laps.
So, Ice Kid Man, on the medium tyres, setting that lap time, goes, the only driver to use the medium tyres, but goes P10 with that. I'd be surprised if anyone chooses to stick with the medium tyres. You might as well go softs. But maybe just getting a banker lap in. As we see Van on base go second, 0.004 of a second slower.
And we know Van on base from Spain has a lot of pace under that hood as well. Driving an extremely good race in Spain.
Here's Obsidian now, just beginning their lap, and they've got an Alfa Romeo just in front of them that hopefully is on a slowdown lap. And we'll get out of the way. Yep, dives into the escape road. That's the right thing to do, to be fair, if a car behind you's on a quick lap, because we've got all the time in the world to get that car reversed out of there. Right on board with Obsidian as we come down towards turn 3. You want to brake around about 100-metre board? I was way earlier than that because I'm rubbish. Left-hander there, 90 degrees, and then it's very, very easy to brake late for this one, as we've done there. Very, very wide of the apex for Obsidian in turn 4. Now a left-right. And again, if you take too much into here, you'll be compromised all the way through the right-hander, and again, missing the apex on that one as we come out towards the very, very tight and very, very slow turn 7. Ooh, and just close, just avoiding the wall. That's a scruffy lap from Obsidian so far. Here's the castle section, just avoiding that wall on the outside. And again, it's not the cleanest. We were quite narrow, running wide down the exit. And in terms of initial laps, this has not been the cleanest one we've seen. There's yellow flags all over the place at the moment, but they're not going to affect this lap.
Canurdi was on a flying lap coming round turn 15, but he took that little cut over the curb and hitting at the wall, so I'm not sure if he's going to try and make this a lap that sticks or he'll just retire the car here back into the pits. But Canurdi, one of the few drivers still here, he's hitting walls left, right, centre. He's going to have to get that car in and then back out again to set a time.
Oh, there's some front wing we've just seen from on board with Obsidian flying away over the back of our car. DRS wide open for the Red Bull, and it's not looking like it's going to be ultimate pace. It is a 140.4. I was absolutely 100% wrong. It's the fastest time we've seen.
That's indeed a monolithically fast time there from Obsidian, so it'll be interesting to see that he's going to go out and make a run at that. Still plenty of time left as well in qualification.
So, a shout out to Carner as well, who struggled so far this season, but has gone P5 so far in the second Renault. Good lap time from Carner. As obviously with King Bart gone, both Renaults needing to step up and bring points for that team now. Cookie is 6th, and the other driver on debut, October 4th, currently in 9th place for Racing Point. Is there anybody on a quick lap at this point? I don't think there is. Hercules actually on the circuit. I think this might be a quick lap. Yes, it is indeed. So we can have a look at Hercules on the soft tyres.
Bit of traffic ahead, so you'll be hoping that it either gets out the way quickly or speeds up a bit.
It's his own teammate, so you'd like to think his own teammate would get out the way. As Hercules comes in towards the castle section now. On board as we go through this very, very thin. It's barely even 2 cars wide through there. And out towards the back part of the circuit. We're up at the top of the hill now, near the castle of Baku. And down towards the very, very awkward turn 15. That curb, you can cut quite a bit of that curb, but if you do so, there's a risk of you ending up in the wall on the far side. Hercules up and against it that time. And through turn 16 now, keeping it clean. Currently shown purple in the middle sector, but I'm never sure how accurate that is.
Canurdi just in front, how you hope. Yep, gives him plenty of space there. Great driving there from Canurdi to just open up that door.
Comes Hercules down towards the start-finish line. And this is looking pretty quick. It's a 140.1 provisional pole for Hercules in the Racing Point. Well, if we've lost Tori, the former teammate of Tori very much stepping up in this early part of the session and getting well on the brakes to allow Oktoberfoff through to begin their own lap. So we can have a look now at Hummersep for Mercedes, the black and teal Mercedes AMG Petronas car.
Yeah, Hummersep here and quite a few other drivers, of course, representing the Armenstein Racing Group. So I'll no doubt there's a lot of people in chat cheering them on as well this evening.
So Hummersep, of course, had a very, very strong race last time out. Started 14th on the grid, out of shape there, coming out of turn 7. As I was saying, started 14th on the grid in Monza and ultimately finishing 3rd once this result was decided by the stewards. So, very, very strong performance there. Be hoping to keep it clean. I think he's the only driver so far this season in this division to have picked up no penalties at all.
Indeed, Hummersep definitely one of these drivers that might not have that absolute blistering one-lap pace, but has a very high pace around the track with a very clean driving line.
This is a very good lap. This is almost a second quicker than his previous best, and this is looking to put us right up towards the top of the field here. We'll see what sort of time Hummersep can produce as we come down towards the start-finish line, just underneath the bridge. DRS now wide open.
Keeps this up, it could be a 140.3, which would put him second.
It's front row. It's P2 for Hummersep. A very good lap, a 140.2. Nobody yet into the 139s, and we saw in Division 6 qualifying, I think the top 8 were all in the 139s in Division 6. So there is still pace to come from some of these drivers. Cookie going slowly at the back end of the circuit, but just keeping out of people's way. And we've got Jock James coming down the main straight, but on a very, very slow lap. Looks like there's been a mistake made this time around. So we can have a look at Oktoberfoff, who's on an improvement on their own. In fact, did improve on their own time. And Roy Weller, first driver into the 39s in the McLaren. Roy Weller with a 139.8. And Mahoney improving to P5 as well. Mercedes going very, very strong here, which is good to see.
Yeah. Definitely good seeing Roy Weller there. You know, definitely one of the strong drivers here. Somebody I think could definitely get a really good result here in Baku, especially with that time. And Ice Kid Man now sneaking under 140 as well, Harringzord.
Only 6,000ths of a second between them. It is hotting up at the front. Roy Weller from Ice Kid Man. Dan Gilligan's had a slow lap and is aborting this one to come into the pit lane. So I don't think there's anybody on a quick lap at this point. Van on base in the pits. T-Keg was on a slower one. And we've got Nordy actually coming down to start a quick lap in the McLaren. Hard on the brakes into turn 1. That's nice and clean. Pretty quick as well. And you don't want to overdo it into turn 2. Very, very easy, is it not? To clip the back wall, and that was a bit of a lock-up, which will compromise us all the way down this back straight. The 100-metre board. Again, a lock-up on the inside left, but we won't lose too much time doing that. And another lock-up this time on the front right. Clearly not using the ABS assist is Nordy. And slowing this one down. This is an awkward chicane, this one. Just so easy to get that wrong and lose a ton of time. And speaking of awkward, you've got this entire next section of the circuit.
Yeah. But he has went 0.4 faster in that other sector, so we'll see what Canudi can do. It would gain him a couple of places on the qualifying board.
Well, slightly wide there, not ideal at the turn 12, but it's flat out all the way through this back section of the circuit now. as we come down towards this awkward turn 15. How much curb will we cut? Quite a bit, and that very nearly threw us into the wall on the far side. Struggling to get the power down as well, down the hill. It's a steep drop down towards 16, and then it is basically, well, it's entirely flat out to the line from here.
0.9 up, almost 1 second, which if he kept that up would put Knurdy all the way up in 8th place.
Yeah, it's going to be top 10 if we keep up the current rate. Probably keep to the left-hand side for the shortest possible route to the line. Now Noddy opting to stick to the right-hand side, and it is a 4th place, a 140.2. Very, very good lap. And McLaren, who've had a difficult season so far, 1st and 4th, with 3 minutes of this session to go.
Let's just say it's motivation from the Nuggets naughty list. We were talking about them both being on there, now look at these performances.
Welcome along to those of you just joining us. We've got 3 minutes to go in this one. Only a couple of drivers in the 139s, and Roy Weller currently on provisional pole. But a few drivers now looking to start their quick lap, and Iana has just improved up into P17. I think Dave K is aborting this lap quite a bit slower, the 141. Ooh, very. You can see how tight that pit lane is. That was a good demonstration of that. As I think we have Jock James, coming over the line to start their own quick lap. So, do you think, Nugget, as we see a Williams come out of the pit lane and hopefully doesn't get in Jock's way, have we seen the best of Jock James yet this season?
You know what? I think in Monza, we got maybe a bit surprised by Jock's outright pace and driving. You know, he made up a lot of spaces. Now, remembering back to Monza, Jock basically got the greatest start under the second safety car, and I believe was caught by some Codemasters-ness and had to give back quite a few positions. So Jock may be very well suited to these fast, narrow tracks, and I would expect him to set a quicker qualifying time here and then deliver it on the track as well. So definitely want to look out for.
He was half a second up on his own best time in Sector 1. He was a little cautious through the castle section, but trust me, it's understandable. We come out towards the back part of the circuit, so hopefully Jock can keep up this rate of improvement. I know you're a fan, because he's called Jock.
That is just casual racism at its finest, Englishman.
Oh, hey, raiding with a partying. Nodi is retired, but that's in the pit lane. Nodi not able to set another time, so nothing to worry about there. No incident on the circuit. And we can see Jock James
out
now.
As well. Dave K out as well, so Dave K will not be able to improve on that 141.89. And hello, oh hey, Raiders.
So, Jock James across the line. We've got about a minute to go in this session. Was up quite a lot in Sector 1. I missed the improvement in Sector 2, but across the line for Jock James, it's a 140.3 P6, which is not bad at all.
Big jump and good showing of pace there from Jocko James. Anybody else?
And Van on base, Hercules on circuit as well.
Cookie in 13th, up 0.8 on their time coming across into the finish line, which would put them just 140-ish, which could possibly be third.
Yeah, Cookie
another
potentially
driver in Monza.
Potentially looking towards a spot towards the front of the grid, but of course other people are able to improve as well. For Cookie, it's a 140.001. And Dan Gilligan goes fastest with a 39.2. That is considerably faster than anybody else in the field so far.
Big pace. Danny G shown dropping down these divisions that they have got a lot of pace in the tank, so Div 5 beware.
Oktoberfoth, the other newbie, goes second. The newbies are stamping their authority now. 139.8 for Oktoberfoth. Van on base coming down towards the start-finish line now in the Ferrari. We get the DRS open, and it is a 140.4. Only a slight improvement for Van on base, unfortunately there. Now Hercules coming out of the final sector looks to have possibly aborted this lap. So Hercules won't be able to improve. We'll keep an eye on Roy Weller and Ice Kid Man. Ice Kid Man has bailed out of it as well. So it might well be down to Roy Weller here to see if anybody can get close to Dan Gilligan's Renault.
Yep. But those are monster times being set there. You can see the jump between basically 5th and 1st. These are just the last few guys coming across the line. We'll see if anybody can sneak a position.
Roy Weller now come and do the final sector.
Up
nice
0.4. That would take him provisional second unless he can steal a bit more time.
So we'll see what that McLaren can do. Can they improve to the front row? Here comes Roy Weller over the line. And it's a 1:39.4. It's second place, but it's not good enough to stop Dan Gilligan, who I'm pretty sure Karna has invalidated. I don't think anybody else is out. Maybe Obsidian can do something about this, actually. No, Obsidian is invalidated as well.
Yeah.
So it looks to me like it's going to be Dan Gilligan on pole here in Baku. And just when Division 5 thought that we'd lost a Renault that was quicker than everybody else, we've got a Renault that's quite a lot quicker than everybody else.
Who knows what they're feeding those drivers there at Renault, or maybe this is just King Bar in disguise. Arif just coming across the line to finish things up here for us before we get set on track. Now, Harringzord, having watched the laps, looking at the positions, do we have predictions for top three?
Ugh. Well, I mean, we didn't see a lot of pace from Dan early in that session, but obviously that 1:39.2, if we can lap at that sort of pace, I think it's going to be tricky. Most of the field doesn't seem to be close to that. Right, well, out with the 39.4, that's a very, very good time. Like, that's 4/10 clear of anybody else who's been in Division 5 for the remainder of this season as well. Oktoberfoff impressing on Division 5 debut, relegating down from Division 4, and there goes a bit of front wing on Dan Gilligan's car. But it's another pole position for Renault.
Yep, it is indeed, with a Renault McLaren Racing Point. Now, I'm not going to let you get away with this. What are your predictions for the top three come the end of the race?
That's so hard to say around here. I'm going to predict Ice Kid Man to keep it clean today, get a podium. I think Hercules has threatened a podium. I think Hercules could be on the podium today. And I think Dan Gilligan might well keep this clean. We'll see if we can, obviously, might be a little bit of ring rust in there. So we'll see if he can keep it out of the barriers. But if he does, he might well have the pace to win this race. So, your top 10 in qualifying. Dan Gilligan on pole for Renault. Roy Weller, just a 10th.5 shy in the end for McLaren, but a best qualifying of the season for Roy, which is an excellent result. Oktoberfoff, the Norwegian, joining us, and third on Division 5 debut. Ice Kid Man, Cookie, Hercules, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Another good showing from Cookie as well in that AlphaTauri. Nordy is 7th, T-Keg is 8th, Hummersep and Jock James rounding out the top 10 for Mercedes and AlphaTauri, respectively. Obsidian, probably a disappointed 11th, actually, in that Red Bull. Mahoney is 12th, Van on Base 13th, Daft in the Haas is 14th, Karna 15th, Evil Steel 16th, and Yana was 17th, Arif was 18th, and Dave K will start at the back. But qualifying is maybe 10% of the story, and that is looking very, very cloudy indeed.
It is indeed. Now, we did see, I believe it was Division 8 late last night. There was a trickling of rain in the last couple of laps, and we saw what sort of chaos that ensured. So it'll be interesting to see what is going to happen here weather-wise, and will we get a bit of raindrops during the race? We're just waiting now on the drivers loading in so we could get going here. We'll, of course, have the formation lap, so the last thing you want to do is make any silly mistakes with some contact here.
The forecast from what I've seen is dry. So even though it's cloudy, it's not looking like we will see any rain in this race. But I've been wrong before, and I could be wrong again. So, tyres. We've got all of the top 10 on the softs. They have to do that, of course. Mahoney and Van on Base on the medium tyre. Karna, Iana, and Dave K opting for the hards. Everybody else on the soft tyre.
You would imagine Kana and Iana and Dave K looking to go on a one-stopper here, go deep with those hard tyres, and potentially just jump on the mediums for the last section. But you never know what's going to happen. Safety cars, early doors, if people are not careful.
You just saw the predicted pit-stop strategy there. If you're on the soft tyres, you probably look to trade them in for the hards if you're going to go for the one-stop approach, or you can go for a two-stop of the soft, medium, medium, and a lot of it is safety car dependent, and of course, front wing damage dependent as well. Remember that this has been the rowdiest division of all, I believe, when it comes to penalties. So we are expecting fireworks, to say the very least, around this Baku city circuit.
Indeed, indeed. Although knowing our luck, this will be the one division that gets it nice and clean throughout, but I highly doubt that.
See the cars just streaming through the castle section and out onto the back part of the circuit. You'll just see them weaving to get some heat into their Pirelli tyres. You don't want cold tyres. You'll be into the wall before you know it. There's that predicted pit stop strategy again. The soft tyres are the red wall tyres. The medium tyres are less quick but a bit more durable. They're the yellow mark tyres. And the hard tyres are the slowest but the most durable and can go the furthest distance into this race.
Indeed, just seeing everybody get to that line nice and safely. No issues whatsoever.
The question for you, Nugget, is will we see a safety car today?
Yes.
How many?
And I'm predicting safety car Roy Weller DNF turn 1, and if Roy Weller escapes it, I could see another one involving Roy Weller turn 2.
I don't know if the commentators are supposed to troll the contestants, but that's what we've got, so we're going to stick with it.
You know, if I'm allowed a naughty list, I'm allowed to see who I expect to see on it, surely.
So the cars at the back, just lining up.
Until Roy proves me wrong one of these laps, it's going to continue.
Nope, all the cars now on the grid, and we are ready to go here in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 5 lights on. It's lights out, and away we go around the streets of Baku, and there was a couple of slow-moving cars at the back, but Roy Weller takes the lead. No, very, very early on the brakes, and Dan Gilligan sweeps around the outside. Oh, there's contact. There's a big, big incident at the back. There's cars everywhere. Cars all over the place. Both AlphaTauris involved, and there's a penalty for Jock James again for a collision with T-Keg. We've got yellow flag in Sector 1. That went horribly, horribly wrong.
Indeed, we had Mahoney, it looked like was slow off the line, but not causing the incident. And from what I could see down in the future, it was perhaps the AlphaTauri that caused a bit of collision. And whilst we've got
a virtual safety car. We've got a virtual safety car. I think one of the Alfa Romeos is very, very slow. There's been more cars into the wall. And a virtual safety car which neutralises this race. Nobody allowed to overtake. And you can see the Haas without a front wing. The Ferrari without a front wing. One of the AlphaTauris without a front wing. And we know Cookie at the back is again front wingless as well. There's going to be all sorts of drivers diving into the pits at the end of this lap. And you can see them all bunching up nose to tail as we come through this back part of the circuit. There's collisions there between Hercules and Obsidian. 5-second penalties for both of those guys for a collision under the safety car. We are green again in Baku, and Dan Gilligan leads from Roy Weller.
Somerset, the driver we were speaking before, very much the turtle to the hare race pace wise, but I mean he is a turtle in a Formula 1 car, so just perhaps a very fast turtle.
A beautiful analogy from McNugget.
Not the fastest driver, but very clean throughout, and he's a turtle that's driving an F, so he deserves extra credit for driving with no thumbs.
So, I'm trying to work out the leaderboards as Dan Gilligan sets the fastest lap. I think Dave Kay is up in 7th place here in that Alfa Romeo, and he started at the very, very back of the field, did Dave Kay. But we can see Oktoberfoff. Nope, I think the timing screens are all over the place. Oktoberfoff is diving down the timing boards. We see Jock James at turn 1. Again, with a reason to go to the steward's room. Once again, unfortunately for Jock James. And in the pits, a Reef, along with a bunch of other drivers. It is at the front. Oktoberfoff in 3rd, but with a little bit of wing damage. You can see the end plate damage on that racing point on the front right-hand side. Obsidian is... Is that Evil Steel in 4th place? Or 5th place?
It's definitely not making it easy at the moment. That is Somerset 4th, Evil Steel 5th, Daft 6th, I believe.
I mean, these timing screens are just unusable for the first 2 laps, so we have to wait. But Dan Gilligan leads from Weller, from Oktoberfoff. Hummersep in 4th, and Oktoberfoff with that damage on the front of his racing point. So Hummersep will be keen to get past as quickly as possible. It does appear to be Evil Steel in 5th for Red Bull. And behind that, we've got one of the Hasses. I think it's Daft, who's again managed to keep out of trouble. Although there is a bit of end plate damage on that Hass as well. It's all kicking off in the midfield with Dave Kay, of course, who's generally struggled for pace, but has done a bit better than most for keeping out of trouble, although he has picked up a lot of penalties. And there's a bit of a slide from the Alfa Romeo.
It's gone! Evil Steel is gone! He clipped the wall in the fast section in section 3 and is just gone. I imagine safety car is just gone.
It's a virtual safety car. So again, the driver's required to reduce their speed. Evil Steel out of this race, colliding with the inside barrier and just being shot into the outside wall. Coming through the fast right-hander, and another good start turns to nothing for the Red Bull driver. It is all happening here. In the pits, Oktoberfoff using the virtual safety car to take a cheaper pit stop and get that front wing replaced, and drive-through penalty for a reef for speeding under the virtual safety car. Oktoberfoff going to the hard tyres and maybe hoping to go to the end of the race now.
Indeed. Hummersep getting another position there as Oktoberfoff came into the pit. So Hummer up into 3rd place. Mahoney as well staying out on those mediums has gained a lot of positions. And Dave Kay rocking that 6th place in the AlphaTauri, which is great to see Dave Kay doing so well here.
Yeah, but definitely holding up a lot of cars behind him who are struggling to get past. We saw a time penalty there for T-Keg. It's been a disastrous start for Ferrari here, with both T-Keg and Van on base right at the back, and T-Keg with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Down the inside goes Ice Kid Man on Hercules.
I don't know if that was an actual overtaking position that you should want to do, but it's not held. Hercules has snuck back through. Dave Kay doing his best. He's holding that position, which is going to be infuriating to Jock James and the cars behind. Yeah,
those guys have all lost about 3 seconds to Mahoney, and this is really good for Mercedes. Those guys have been able to get away and run a little bit of their own race in the highest point scoring positions. Dan Gilligan and Roy Weller kind of in a league of their own at the front, but Hummersep, as we see Dave Kay run wide again, and this could get very, very feisty indeed. There was contact there between Ice Kid Man and Hercules, and watch out for Obsidian getting involved here too. Dave Kay seems to have lost a bit of front wing. Safety car deployed. So we've had 2 virtual safety cars and a safety car. And it looks like it is... We've got a stopped Alfa Romeo. Is that Iana? Iana's the wrong way, around the back end of the circuit. So we've got a safety car now, and this will be an opportunity for all of those guys at the front to dive into the pit. Roy Weller's missed it. But look, the guys in the midfield have got the opportunity to pit here. The cars at the front missed the pit entrance, and they're going to have to go around. Mahoney, I think, was the first to pop into the pit lane. So the Mercedes very much scoring for a free pit stop here. The safety car will bunch the field together.
I was waiting to say, I thought there was an incident on turn 2, but it is just that yellow marker for the safety car.
It's lap 4. And we've had 2 virtual safety cars and a safety car. Division 5 is living up to its name here. Division 5 to survive.
Hummersep, Mr. Turtle doing the job as well. Up into 3rd, big winner here. Although you're going to be looking at drivers like Mahoney, who has went onto the hards, but he came out behind Oktoberfoff.
Yeah, so Oktoberfoff pitting early. So Oktoberfoff, if you assume that the guys at the front have to pit, the question will be, if everyone's sticking to a safety car delta, those first 4 cars might actually be able to sneak a pit stop here at the end of this lap and get away with it, because the cars from, I think, Oktoberfoff downwards are stuck to their safety car delta and will be going quite slowly.
It'll be interesting to see here if Danny G. Gilligan does pop into the pits here or not. Is on soft tyres, you would think they would be likely to pop in, getting those hards as well.
We'll see what Dan Gilligan does up at the front.
Like it. Yep.
Yeah, coming into the pit lane in the Renault. No surprises there.
Roy Weller also following suit.
Yeah, they have to do this. I think they'll get out ahead. The Reef is now retired from the... Oh, there's an incident in the castle. There's an incident in the castle section. There's a traffic jam of cars.
Oof.
A Reef has stopped in the castle section. I assume it's terminal damage to the Haas. And a retirement for Haas under the safety car in Baku. Where have we seen that before? Roy Weller out in the lead. A slow pit stop for Dan Gilligan, possibly a nose change. Roy Weller leads in Baku.
And we'll see where Kana comes to get involved in this. Will he sneak out just in front of Mahoney?
Oh, so Kana hasn't stopped. He's on the hard tyres. So realistically, you can't pit off the hard tyres at this stage because the soft won't go until the end.
Exactly. So we've got Hummersep that came out in 4th, kept his position. We've got the rest of the cars just getting in line now. Arif, unfortunately, out of this race.
Well,
Jock James doing well. Jock James also keeping that well. And Obsidian is out as well.
Obsidian retires. Obsidian coming into the pits and retiring from the race, I think there. I'm not sure why. But we've got a Ferrari in there as well. I don't know if that was to do with the incident at the castle section. But the Red Bull is currently showing us going back to the circuit. But the timing of that, he did retire in the pit lane, so there won't be any issues there. But Obsidian is showing us still on the track, but is about to slow down. That's AI controlled, that car, so we need to be careful here. Nobody being permitted to overtake now.
Now, here's the thing. Roy Weller is out in front here, so he's going to have to judge this safety car. As we were chatting before, he's got to give the safety car enough room to get ahead of you so that when it goes in, you don't get that automatic forced pushback. So we'll see how Roy Weller handles this. Roy Weller, of course, so far escaping the curse. We'll see if he can keep it up or if there's going to be a bit of danger coming up here.
A moment, perhaps, to take a breath during this one. You got to remember that Kana, you might think, oh, well, Kana's in a bad position here having stayed out on older tyres. They're only 4-lap old tyres.
Exactly. So Kana, if he can and he's going to be getting basically a couple of free laps here on them now, being under the safety car. You're realistically looking at Kana and Dan Gilligan getting their pits sorted out for down the line, going on to softs and potentially ending podiums for both.
So if they've started on the soft tyres, anyone on the hard tyres now is essentially looking to go to the end of the race. The thing that Kana kind of needs is another safety car at some point in the middle part of the race to allow him to switch to the medium or even the soft tyre.
Indeed, because he has to use at least 2 different types of tyres.
So in the pits at the moment, I think Iana, I don't know if we're trying to serve a drive-through, but we can't serve a drive-through under safety car conditions. So the soft tyres now going on to that Alfa Romeo.
And I would be interested to see Dave Kay, the only one out on softs at the moment, if they will make that jump onto mediums or hard.
TK pits. Pitting for hard tyres now. Was at the back. Might as well do this and just go up with the end on those hard tyres. I have lost count of how many pit stops we've seen.
Too many. Now, the interesting thing will be, though, if there is another quick safety car, I don't imagine much changing, but if you see a safety car maybe in about 5 or 6 laps, will people take that jump onto the mediums to try and gain the pace and catch these hard tyres?
It very much depends what happens. I think Iana was trying to serve the drive-through penalty there and was then not able to do so. So, we continue behind the safety car. It has been carnage so far as the sun begins to shine on the streets of Baku. A lovely chance for a helicopter shot over the city now.
The sun is shining on Roy Weller out in front here. And I'm just trying to see who is. TK's the only one at the back, but I would imagine the safety car likely to come in this lap. I don't see any reason why not to.
And if you thought it was carnage up until now, wait until you see a safety car restart.
Yep.
No sign at the moment. We've not had the prompt at the end of the second sector that the safety car's going in.
That does not necessarily mean that it won't, though. We know this fine well.
Yes. There is a long way to go in this race.
Yep.
As it looks like the safety car is going round again. See on board with Roy Weller, the safety car sticking to the track. It's not popping over to the pit lane, so it is going to go around for another lap. The light's gone green on the safety car. which normally means you can overtake the safety car, but it's now gone yellow again. So that was confusing.
Roy Weller did do a good job there of giving it a lot of space just in case it did decide to pop in.
Not only that, but we did see the safety car in the Division 2 race yesterday literally teleporting around the circuit. It would go through the first corner and then teleport back into the first corner, and it actually wiped out 2 cars.
We hope that doesn't happen here.
The unsafety car, as it were. But with TK now caught up, we would expect to see the safety car in at the end of this lap.
Yeah. Safety car, of course, the only car safe from getting on McNugget's naughty list.
I'm not sure, based on how it behaved in the Division 2 race. Safety car sneaking into the top 5 possibly after this one. Ooh, almost contact there. It's very, very slow in this section. You want to make sure that you don't run into the back of the car in front, because it would be a silly penalty to get. But everybody, other than Iana's drive-through penalty, has now served penalties, and the slate is clean at this stage.
Yep, so everybody knows what level they're on. We are just hoping that the safety car does come in this time at least, so that we can get back to racing.
Oh, there it is. Jock James into the back. Oh, Dave Kane into the back of Jock James, actually, it looks like.
But Jock James getting the time penalty, so you would imagine that will be taken off.
Dave Kane not getting a time penalty.
Yes.
Jock seems to be a magnet for these things.
He does. They never stick, but he's a magnet for getting them.
I don't know if there's a driver in FRS who's had more penalties removed than Jock James. Safety car in this lap.
Right, so we've got to watch Roy Weller control these front cars, because he has to give them enough gap between them and the safety car so that the safety car goes in and doesn't slow them down, which I don't know if Dan Gilligan is aware of, because he's very close to the back of Roy Weller.
Weller can go whenever he wants. He's the de facto safety car now. When he goes, everybody else can go, because you're not allowed to go before the line, and Weller has gone.
Run.
So here we go, down the start-finish straight, and it looks like Dan Gilligan's got a good start as they come down towards turn 1, but there's no DRS at this stage. We'll need to keep an eye on Hummersep on corner as well in the background as we come down to turn 1. Hummersep going to the inside and possibly going through, keeping it nice and safe.
Yep.
Jock James is wide and back onto the circuit, and Hercules having to take avoiding action there to avoid the AlphaTauri.
Front wing from one of the Renaults.
It's Dan Gilligan. Dan Gilligan with front wing damage, and Hummersep is through into second place.
Turtle is doing it. The Turtle is doing it. Dan Gilligan, heavy braking to make that corner.
That'll have to be a pit stop for the Renault. So Roy Weller leads, and look at that in the background. This contact as Dan Gilligan struggles to keep out of everybody else's way. It is all kicking off in the midfield.
Mahoney sniffing about October 4th. Wide.
He's going to understeer. Don't go around the outside.
It is chaos. Dave Kay looking to make a jump back into 4th.
Dave Kay up to 4th, and there's contact again in corner spins.
It's chaos. Two wide.
Virtual safety car called, and another penalty for Jock James. And contact there behind the safety car between Ice Kid Man and Dan Gilligan, I think.
Everyone there. I must say, Roy Weller, Canna, big winners here. Dave Kay, massive winner. Here's the problem though, you want to stay on the hards. I think Dave Kay...
We're green again, and the racing points come together. Hercules into the back of October 4th, and a front wing loss for Jock James. At the back, slow moving car is Iana. And there's penalties galore here.
Everyone is just rolling past Dan Gilligan here. Daft looking to make a move on Mahoney.
Oh, into the wall, and Dave Kay's out! Facing the wrong way, and no!
Oh, what's going on here?
It is carnage in Baku.
There is a bukkake of cars facing the wrong way here.
And the game can't call any more safety cars. We've already hit the maximum limit of 4. This is every man for himself now, but Roy Weller leads.
Oh, wow.
Good Lord.
9 laps in and no more safety cars.
It's all kicking off in the midfield again. There's damage on Cookie's car, I think. No, they're going backwards, and Van on Base up in the 10th place. Oh, another virtual safety car. I was wrong. We've had another virtual safety car called. I didn't even think this was possible. Another VSC called. Jock James in the pits for a nose change. And another chance for us to catch our breath. What is going to happen next? Who is where in this race? What's happening with the penalties? I have no idea. What I know is that this looks like a fight between Roy Weller and Hummersep for the win of this race.
Indeed, we've got Mahoney and Ice Kid Man on 5 seconds apiece. That are the top 8 drivers there with penalties. Roy Weller, the cursed child, as we would call him, against the turtle of F1. I don't know who would want to see crash more.
Can we have a couple of laps without any incident, please?
And it's not to say that this virtual safety car won't just end at any point, so drivers do have to...
There we go, it's ended now, and a drive-through penalty for Jock James. The penalty magnet gets another one. Speeding under the safety car.
And Roy Weller looking like he's going into the pits, so
he is.
For place.
Why is Roy Weller pitting? Is that wing damage? But Hummersep leads.
Yep. I will keep an eye on and Roy Weller to see what's happening here. It's a new front nose for Roy Weller. There was damage. Possibly, I think Codemasters doesn't want to show you the damage, but it is a new nose.
Hummersep leads from 2.7 seconds from Karner, who has to pit. So it's realistically 6.2 or maybe even 7 seconds actually back to Ice Kid Man, and Hummersep has kept it clean as he did in Monza, and Hummersep is in... Oh no! That was too slow, and that's into the wall. Is there wing damage on the Mercedes?
We'll see. No, there doesn't look like it. He might have just got away with that. And he has. He's just got away with that.
Iana now into the pits. Is that drive-through or is that... I don't know. Jock James serving that drive-through penalty. Jock James is now retired from the race.
It's not the sort of race Jock James would have
Wait, the Ferraris. There's an incident with the Ferraris here in the midfield, and that is Van on base losing out to T-Keg. We have 5 retirements in the first 10 laps, and half of them have been... Daft is out! Daft is out in the castle section!
And is that going to be...
Oh no!
Safety cars?
Oh no, that's a big mistake for Daft, and another retirement. We've lost another one.
Chat, any thoughts on, do you know, more than 10 cars finishing this race?
We're under yellow flag. I don't think we can have another safety car.
Sector 1 again.
Jock James's car is moving slowly on the circuit, but he did retire in the pit lane.
He did.
I think the reason was it was serving a drive-through, so it wouldn't have stopped. We've got to move here. Mahoney and Hercules going toe-to-toe down towards turn 1 in some actual racing here in Division 5. Mahoney going at the pits. So clearly wing damage on that second Mercedes, but Hummersep continues to lead from Karner, who is running as high as he's run all season in that Renault.
Yeah, Karner does still have... And Dan Gilligan, 3-second time penalty, not being the delivery of the qualifying for Danny G here so far.
I mean, Oktoberfoff is towards the back. I've missed that. I don't know why that's happened. But Oktoberfoff coming across the line on 11th place at the moment. But as we say, Hummersep leads from Karner and Ice Kid Man.
We do say near the back, but there are only 13 drivers left. So, kind of in the middle with Oktoberfoff.
Remember that Hummersep and Ice Kid Man are 2 of the top 3 in the championship. And if somehow Ice Kid Man's penalty, we need to check what that is. It's 5 seconds for a collision. Obsidian has now left the session, but retired a long time ago. But it was a safety car collision.
Was it not Ice Kid Man and Mahoney, I believe?
Possibly. I mean, it's so hard to recall.
It is. Now, we do also have Hummersep there. We know Karner will have to pit at some point because he's only on hard tyres. So he does have to use 2 different types of minimum tyres. Karner will have to come at some point. A lot of these drivers now taking advantage of the virtual safety car. Have went to mediums. They should last to the end of the race.
TK goes past Cook. I think Cookie's damaged that AlphaTauri. I think there's damage on that AlphaTauri. It's going slowly and keeping out of the way. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. One of the Alfa Romeos is off. And yeah, there's end plate damage on Cookie's AlphaTauri. It's another front wing for his personal front wing budget. And Roy Weller, who did lead this race, is now down in 9th position. Cookie just recovering to the pit lane, doing the right thing here and keeping out the way.
Yeah.
Nobody with the fastest lap of the race in the other McLaren. Here comes Roy Weller, but there's DRS for Van on base as well. As they come down at turn 1. Roy Weller now with the fastest lap of the race. Hummersep leads by 6.4 seconds over Ice Kid Man, because we assume that Karna legally does have to pit in this race. The number of pit stops in this race has been requested. If someone wants to count them that isn't me, be my guest.
Hummersep with all the clean track in the world in front of him as well. Just has to do the simple things, the nice clean driving which he's famed for, and should do very well here.
So Hummersep has already had his little wake-up call to himself. He had that moment where he ran wide and nearly went into the wall, and that'll be the reminder to himself that he might be in the lead, but this job is far from done. We are not even halfway through this Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Indeed we are not, and there's still a lot of action to go. And you'll just see more and more of these drivers. The tyre wear continues, obviously. More onto these mediums and hards. We'll see more slips, more slides. See guys pushing the car further to catch up, getting at points.
The scenes we have seen in these first 12 laps will, I think, either live long in the memory or not very long in the memory at all, depending on your viewpoint. You might be having a drink or two to get rid of this one. Into the pits comes Karna.
Yep, Karna doing the right thing, getting on to change of tyres. We'll see what they're going to go on to, but they're going to lose possibly a fair amount of time. Going to probably be mediums. Yep, mediums and a new front wing.
I don't know if there's a driver who stopped who hasn't taken a new front wing yet. Maybe Hummersep, actually.
Hummersep. I would put money on it being Hummersep.
So Karna comes out in 8th place, still in the points, and Karna's Renault yet to score points at this point this season. I really hope that he's able to keep this going and get his first points of the season today. That would be lovely.
Definitely, definitely. And of course, having to carry on a bit of points for these Renaults. After King Bart putting them in a commanding position in the constructors, we were talking about, the Racing Point and McLaren's catching them up, and at the moment, Hartley's and Hummer top 3, and the nearest McLaren being down in 8th with Karna.
Concerned here? No, guys, I'm concerned here because I believe at the start of this race I picked Ice Kid Man and I picked Hercules to be on the podium.
Well, there's a lot of laps to go.
There's a lot of laps to go, but they're currently 2nd and 3rd.
I mean, if you talk about them like I do Roy Weller, they're not going to be in a good mood come the end of this race.
Speaking of Roy Weller, he's lost a lot of time to the back of T-Keg's Ferrari.
Indeed.
Or has got past Van on base. One of the two. I can't work out which. Lock up from Roy Weller, and that was just about okay. Concerned we might have slid into the wall. This actually looking like a very good showing for McLaren. A good haul of points here compared to what they've been able to achieve so far. Ice Kid Man on that last lap, gaining about 0.8 of a second on Hummersep.
Yep, indeed as well. But Hummersep just got to keep the steady pace, knows they've got the tyres, knows they've got the speed. You know, if you're Hummersep and you had somebody like Dan Gilligan or Roy Weller right behind you, you know, the really fast qualifiers, you might feel a bit more nervous. But Hummersep has shown that he's got pace equal to those around them.
So, there is of course a penalty on Ice Kid Man. I have no idea if it'll be a penalty that'll stick or if it won't be a penalty that'll stick. So what we will do at this point is we will assume that the penalty is going to be taken away and that this is just a battle on the track, and then we'll let the stewards work all of that out.
Which I'm sure they're going to be so happy.
There is, look, front wing damage for Ice Kid Man. There's an end plate missing on the front left side of that Williams.
So it's going to be, they're going to have to pit at some point then.
Well, you can get away with an end plate, I think. But you can't afford to do any more damage because then you would be looking at having to pit. Hercules in 3rd place. Front wing all in one piece, and fastest lap of the race now for Dan Gilligan in the recovering Renault.
Hercules a very fast driver, so somebody, if you're Ice Kid Man, you don't want behind you.
We've got Van on base. Oh no! Oh, Van on base is reversing up the hill.
Oh, and ghosted to let Karna through.
We saw that in the Division 1 race. And it was a little cleaner than that, but Van Ombe's reversing up the hill.
Oh, and we've got, is that Roy Weller Canurdi off?
Yeah,
there?
nobody's off. Nobody's spun around, but there's no damage. It's just it's a spin in the traction zone at turn 16. Suddenly it's all kicking off again. And Ice Kid Man with a 3-second time penalty. That one will stick. And that plays into Hummersep's hands up at the front.
A big sigh of relief for the Armenstein Racing boys there, seeing that 3-second penalty. He slapped on Ice Kid Man, gives Hummer a bit more breathing room.
T-Keg having to pit. This is a race of attrition. You have got to keep it clean with regards to your front wing.
Indeed, this is where the turtle will beat the hare. As long as they're both in Formula 1 cars, of course.
So T-Keg rejoining in 9th place. Cookie just coming around turn 1 now. Mahoney's still going in this one, now behind Oktoberfoth. And Van Ombe's unfortunately now into the pit in the other Ferrari. And because T-Keg's just been in, this will be a very slow stop.
Indeed it will.
Oh, Hercules! Hercules, the wrong way round! Another mistake at the castle, and we've got another car reversing up the hill, and Hercules is now... Oh no, what is happening? Hercules has lost it, and this again works. If Hummersep can keep this point in the right direction, he's going to win this race. Because Roy Weller's now back into 3rd place, but he's 11 seconds behind Ice Kid Man.
It's just unbelievable. Roy Weller locking a bit there, going through the...
I just need to keep this camera at the castle permanently.
Just keep it at that chicane, just to watch everybody reverse up.
I'll tell you from experience, that section of the course, the castle section, is so difficult. I know I said I was one of the slowest drivers in all divisions through that bit, but, you know, I didn't lose the wing in there, so ultimately it was a little bit quicker. So currently Hummersep 6 seconds ahead of Ice Kid Man, still at the front. We're currently looking at Mahoney in P8, and along the main straight, Hercules now recovering to the pits for Racing Point. Nobody going through, and that was less than glamorous.
Yep, Nerdy and Roy Weller looking to get themselves off that naughty list and into the points here. 3rd and 4th for the orange McLaren.
Look at Karner. What a result this would be for Karner in the Renault, who's had such a tough time in the first 3 races of this season.
Definitely a huge, I'd call this a confidence boosting race. If you could get these sort of driving and speed through Baku, you know, really going to set yourself up for the remaining races of the season.
Hercules out in P10, so still at the points, despite reversing up the track for part of it. And
yep.
What's the situation with Oktoberfoth and Mahoney and TK close together on the circuit? Both Mercedes still running in the points. Both McLarens on for a very good result as it stands. But for Hummersep, it's just drive your race, keep your head together. And I think behind there, Mahoney made another mistake in that Mercedes. There is wing damage, end plate damage for Mahoney there. And TK right on his tail as we come into the castle section.
Dave K has left the session. I'm not sure if that was just an accumulation or what, but we now have 13 drivers remaining.
Yeah, Dave K retired a while ago. I think we're just sticking around to spectate, as are the rest of us. Do not take your eyes off this. Anything could happen. I don't believe it's possible for the safety car to be deployed. Which I think very much works into Hummersep's favour, because the last thing Hummersep wants is cars anywhere near him.
Indeed, indeed. He's got all of the track to his delight. He's got Dan Gilligan a couple of corners just in front, so back markers shouldn't be an issue. You expect Dan Gilligan to move aside and let him cleanly through. And the Ice Kid Man, of course, as close he is at 6.1 seconds, does have a few penalties there, as T-Keg has overtaken Mahoney on the start line. Indeed,
down at turn 1. T-Keg through into position 7, rather than turn 7, into turn 1. And the Ferrari on slightly fresher tyres than Mahoney, but Mahoney suffering with the wing damage, of course, and a chance for T-Keg, who is up towards the top end of the championship, but has had an eventful race today to get onto the back of the new Beta Division 5 Oktoberfoth.
Rights it in the chicane at the castle. I'm not sure what severe damage he's taken, but he shunted that front right into the chicane. So it'll be interesting to see if damage there.
So that'll have to be a pit stop for Ice Kid Man, and that's looking
Roy
even
Weller.
better for Hummersep.
Roy Weller
Weller.
tank slapping it a bit there, coming out of the chicane, losing a bit of time. Obviously pushing hard to catch up to Hummersep, but could get caught pushing a bit too hard.
If anybody just needed to play it safe and just keep their cool, it is this man. Hummersep and the Mercedes leads with... We come on to lap 18. What's that? There's going to be about 9 laps to go of this one. And every time he goes into that castle section, he'll be holding his breath. Every time he hits the brakes for turn 5 and 6, he'll be holding his breath.
Ice Kid Man coming into pit as well. Almost overcooked it into the pit lane for contact. So that's a Roy Weller overtake. Roy Weller into second place here. Canudi will come into third. If you're the McLarens here, do you sit for second and third here, knowing how much you need the points, or do you still push for that Hummersep first place?
I think McLaren would be absolutely delighted with second and third here. And we can see a very slow pit stop for Ice Kid Man as TK sets the fastest lap of the race and gets past October 4th into turn 1. TK on the charge in the Ferrari.
Yep.
Ice Kid Man out in P9 after all of that. So Hummersep's lead is 14.4 seconds, which is as big a lead as we've seen from anybody in Division 5 all season.
Indeed, just that sensible, clean driving with pace from Hummersep showing up huge here. We saw it in Monza, but wondered if we'd see it again here, and we did indeed. Roy Weller going through the castle chicane nicely.
We've got Nordy and Corner. Corner's having a very good run now in 4th place. That looked like it was slightly in the wall in the background.
Nordy front right tyre clipping the chicane.
Yep, damage for the McLaren. Nordy's in trouble. Did Corner hit the wall before? I don't think he did. So Corner now potentially looking at a podium in the Renault.
Nordy, however, has got damage to that front right wing. There is damage to the side of that front right wing, if I could get my words out on Nordy. Again, we were just talking about, do you take it safe in the McLarens and just take the points? And
oh, into the wall, Nordy! That's a tank slapper there. Coming out, and Corner goes through into thirds.
It is all action tonight. Nordy has time to get in and out before TK, so you imagine will come in, which they are doing. But you can't help but feel that is a position lost from McLaren for no real reason.
Corner's previous finishes, 18th, DNF, and 11th. And now running in 3rd place for Renault.
Yep, 3rd place, 33 seconds back to 4th.
Ice Kid Man is out! Ice Kid Man is out!
All happening.
That must be an incident in the wall. I don't have a car to be able to see it. But Ice Kid Man is out of this race, and of course we can't get a safety car. I assume there's been an incident in the back part of the circuit here. But Nordy has pitted, and Nordy is down to 9th place now. TK up into 4th. We have just 12 cars left on the streets of Baku.
When we would see Ice Kid Man if we're on board with Hummersep, if the car is still there, of course. Mahoney as well sneaking up here. Mahoney in 6th place. Got good tyres here just behind October 4th. Or looking to catch them.
Cookie and Mahoney nose to tail as they come through the back section. So Hummersep's lead is down to 12.2 seconds, but at that rate of improvement for Roy Weller, that's not enough to take the win. He's not catching him quick enough.
No, and I think if you're Roy Weller, after the last couple of races you've had, you just settle for 2nd place here. You go, I'm taking the points for myself and the constructors, and I don't want to do anything daft on these last 6 laps.
So Cookie now in the slipstream of Mahoney as we come down the main straight. DRS will be wide open. Presumably we're on the overtake button as well. And the slipstream effect as Cookie goes to the inside and through past Mahoney into P6 for AlphaTauri.
Nice overtake there for the Cookie Monster, who again in Monza was setting good pace until they had that massive spin out. So it's good to see them on form again today.
Hummersep leads by 12.1 seconds from Roy
Every
Weller.
time he goes through that chicane, you just...
Look at all the bits.
It is the definition of squeaky bum time whenever you go through that chicane. Roy Weller's turn now. Oh, taking up all of the course there to get through.
It was Dan Gilligan. That front wing was Dan Gilligan's. That's why there was a front wing on the circuit. Dan Gilligan's lost his wing in the castle section and he'll need to pit again. The pole sitter is having a horrible time.
Not the debut in Division 5 here for Dan Gilligan.
The daft part about it is if he just keeps going, he might even get a point.
It's just a point for survival, indeed, here in Division 5. Roy Weller coming slow into Sector 3, so maybe a bit of a slow turn out of Sector 2. Hummersep, 11 seconds in the lead with 5 laps to go, just needs to keep it together.
Pit stop update. If someone who wants to count them isn't me, knock yourselves out. 4 stops for Rihanna, 4 stops for Dan Gilligan. Van Obey is currently in 10th place, 29.4 seconds back from Nordy. But you might as well keep going because there's a point in it for you.
Indeed, indeed. Trying to see if we've got anyone up close to each other. The closest two are probably Mahoney and Cookie.
We've got Hercules and Nordy, nose to tail, as we come down the back straight. On board with the McLaren now. As they begin, or about to come out of lap 21, we've got a good slipstream, we've got to go over speed. Hercules going to the inside, but the inside won't really matter with this level of overspeed from Nordy. And through into 8th place goes the McLaren with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:42.7. 10.7 seconds now the gap at the front.
Hummersep safely through the castle chicane. We'll see if Roy Weller can follow suit.
I feel like I need to watch them both every time through here.
And Roy Weller again just takes all of that corner. You can't help but feel that there's just going to be one of those times he clips that front right.
Oh, there's wing damage for Connor, and there's more wing damage for Connor. No! Connor into the wall, and that'll be T-Keg up into 3rd.
Well, did Connor make it through the chicane?
Connor might need to pit for that one, I think. We've lost both end plates. The question is, is it better to keep it running, or is it better to go in the pits?
That is a hard decision to say. Connor was to pit, they're probably looking at 9th place.
It's an awful decision.
Connor, you stay out.
So I think you probably do. I think you probably do stay out, yeah.
It's looking that way indeed.
I mean, I think it's hard to accuse us of cursing drivers here because literally all I'm saying is just every driver's name that's in the race.
Every time you see stop the course, I curse a bit more.
Connor staying out. I think that's the right call.
Yeah, indeed. Roy Weller has gained 2 seconds though on Hummersep, so Roy Weller looks to be pushing this, which I think isn't needed, and it could potentially lead to an incident here. I think if you're Roy Weller, you just take the 2nd place, but either that or Hummersep slowing down.
Well, to be fair, it might be that Roy Weller is just playing this for 2nd place, but obviously was faster than Hummersep in qualifying. So it might just be that he's quicker while taking it safe. Hummersep through the castle section. That looked a little awkward. But we're through once again. It never looks pretty, that bit of the circuit, does it? As much as the castle is lovely.
Roy Weller's turn here. Again! Oh, that front right every time. Looks like it's just a way to scrape.
It is. Hold your breath every time you go through there. And now we've got T-Keg right up behind Connor, who's still hanging on to a podium place at the moment for Renault. Coming to the castle section. Oh, and Connor out! Connor in the wall! And front wing gone! Connor not out of the race, but the entire front wing is now gone, so that'll have to be a pit stop for the Renault. I wasn't sure if that was wheel damage. It ghosted instantly, but that is going to have to be a pit stop for Connor. Disaster for the Renault. Dear me. Oh, that's too quick. Getting away with it. But T-Keg up into the podium places. Renault have gone through some front wings today.
Indeed. Now the question is, Hummersep on 17 lap halves hopefully doesn't start feeling any degradation to them in the last couple of laps.
We should probably check in on Connor. Oktoberfoff is right behind. Keep it clean through there. And Oktoberfoff moves up into Oktoberfourth. Gap at the front, 7.8 seconds. Connor surely coming into the pits.
Yep, as in indeed.
Have to get that slowed down, but we can't run around with no front wing like that. Nordy now in the McLaren right up behind Mahoney, but not close enough on this lap. As if you're a Hummersep fan, hold your breath once again. It's castle section time.
3 laps to go. 3 more squeezes through this chicane.
I'm afraid it's 4 more times. We've done. It's now we're through, so 3 more after this.
3 more to go. Now can Roy Weller follow suit? He's almost half the difference on speed here. He's now 7.2 seconds behind on those mediums. We'll see what Roy Weller can do. I just pray Roy Weller doesn't fight this way back and just...
Yellow flag sector 1. It is Corner. Oh no.
And perhaps coming out that pit on cold tyres, getting caught out.
And more wing damage. We'll be able to run that to the end, so Corner should still be able to get first point of the season. But it's all kicking off in the midfield.
Cookie through the chicane nicely, and Mahoney just follows suit, looking to obviously try and catch up on October 4th before the end of the race here.
Both racing points still going. We have lost both Red Bulls, we've lost both Haas cars, we've lost Jock James, Dave Kay, and Ice Kid Man from this race as well. 12 still running in the war of attrition that is the Baku City Circuit. Mahoney with damage on his front wing here and losing time to Nordy, who's on much fresher soft tyres.
Indeed.
Oh, and that was a big one into the wall. That was a huge shot into the wall for Mahoney. That might need a pit stop. There's big wing damage. You can see a huge chunk of wing missing now for Mahoney. But he is 30 seconds ahead of Corner. That's enough time to pit. You would lose the place to Hercules anyway. So I think just come in and, don't risk any more damage. Hummersep fans, it's that time again.
It is the chicane of doom. Nice and smooth. That's all you want to see. Just like that. Now back onto Roy Weller to see if Roy Weller can again follow suit.
T-Keg is off. T-Keg is off.
T-Keg is off.
And that's going to let Oktoberfest. He's gone into the escape road. There's no damage, but Oktoberfest alongside as they come down towards turn 5. Oktoberfest on the outside in the racing point. And they're side by side. T-Keg has contact between the pair. And they're trying to keep it clean. T-Keg holds on to 3rd place. Just.
Cookie is sniffing about like the cookie monster round the cookie jar. He could steal 2 positions here and leap into 3rd if he plays this well.
And now we can't afford to keep it safe through the castle section because we are right nose to tail. You need to gain all the time you possibly can. And there's suddenly Nordy on the freshest tyres of anyone in position to strike against all 3 of those cars. And this is the fight for the last podium place.
Indeed. Big shout out for the...
Oh, and into the wall! T-Keg! Front wing gone. It was too quick into turn 15. And T-Keg has wing damage again.
Roy Weller's in the pits.
Roy Weller pits. And surely there's wing damage. Yes, surely that's going to be victory for Hummersep. Roy Weller in the pits.
No wing damage, just a change of tyres. Roy Weller had obviously...
Roy Weller, he had enough time. With the incident, he thought he had enough time. And there's a yellow flag in sector 1. That is Yana off in the Alfa Romeo. But we have nose to tail down the front straight. Yana just recovering now. With minimal damage and into the wall again for a bit more damage. Roy possibly actually going for fastest lap point. Yeah, possibly going for the extra point.
And T-Keg somehow still in that 3rd position. Somehow still there, T-Keg.
It's T-Keg 3rd, Oktoberfest 4th, Cookie 5th.
Update through the chicane safely. You can all wait another minute 40
He is going so slowly, and I entirely understand why Hummersep's probably lapping in the 150s here. But at this point, yellow flag. That's a Renault. It's not Corner. I think it's Dan Gilligan, perhaps, that caused the yellow flag there. Here comes Roy Weller.
Makes it through nicely.
Of course, he can't set the fastest lap this time around, having just come out of the pits. And then the battle for 3rd rages on with Cookie and Oktoberfest close together. Hercules
gets in the chicane. T-Keg contact with the wall. And
yes, huge damage for T-Keg in the chicane. It is so difficult, this circuit. And now look at this. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Nerdy chasing the Cookie chasing October chasing the T-Keg.
And T-Keg, I mean, can we afford to try and hang on here? There's a yellow flag in sector 1. That is Corner.
Yes,
Karna beat.
just
Well, that was near
won.
Hummersep, but Karna's gone off, still in the points. But his
October
teammate is now
went
right behind him. And we need to go back to this battle.
TKeg.
We need to go back to all of this. This is all kicking off down the back straight. Iana's off in turn 1.
Cookie looking to make the dive through them both. And it's just on then. Canurdi's there as well. Who's going to do what?
Remember that there's damage for TKeg's front wing. We are essentially 4 wide, and Oktoberfoff tries to go around the outside, and Nordy goes around the outside of Cookie.
TKeg, how is he holding this?
He still holds third, but they're all in a queue. How is this? It's going to end in tears, surely.
Cookie losing out at the moment, but going down the inside of Canurdi. And who's that turning around in front? We've got a back marker of Iana just stopped it.
Hummersep is through the chicane for the last time. Oktoberfoff is in 3rd, TKeg 4th, Cookie 5th, and Nordy still in 6th on those soft tyres. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Iana's off again in the Alfa Romeo. But there is only one man who has kept his nose clean all the way through this one. And that is this man here. Hummersep leads for Mercedes. He comes out of what is essentially the final turn and has just 2 corners to go, and trust me, he will lift through here.
Roy Weller made it through the chicane as well nicely, so he's looking to make that fastest time over Mahoney. October's through the chicane, as is TKeg, Cookie and Canurdi.
Hummersep comes through the final part of the lap, and Hummersep, for the first time in FRS, wins in Azerbaijan. Hummersep wins for Mercedes.
Oh, Roy Weller hits the chicane at the speed in Sector 3. That's not going to be the final lap, but it's held it together. Roy Weller's arse would have been twitching there, Harringzord.
Oktoberfoff is 3rd, but look at Cookie behind TKeg. Remember, TKeg's got that wing damage. And there's a car in the wall. It's Karna! Karna's missing out on points today. Dan Gilligan is going to get the last point, but Cookie, it's a drag race to the line. He's not going to make it. TKeg is going to finish 4th. Oktoberfoff on the podium in 3rd. TKeg 4th. Cookie 5th. And Nordy in 6th place for McLaren. Hercules just behind that in the end in 7th. And Mahoney actually has the fastest lap for Mercedes. Hummersep wins.
You're championing the Armenstein Racing Hummersep.
And he kept it clean. He kept it so very clean when everyone else lost their head at various points of this race. He did not hit the wall.
Indeed. Roy Weller with a huge 2nd place as well. Just massive points on the board for Roy Weller. Oktoberfoff, 3rd place, having dropped down the division. TKeg, for some miraculous reason, able to hold on to those positions, despite probably having no win for 3 laps.
I have no idea how I have no idea how TKeg finished 4th in that race. How did he hold that off? How did he do that? But here's your winner today for Mercedes. Hummersep picks up his first win in FRS, and with that, takes the championship lead here in Division 5 when you account that King Bart and Tory are no longer in the division.
Indeed.
Roy Weller on the podium. A great result as well for McLaren.
Indeed, Roy Weller and Oktoberfoff as well. Hummersep, the man, the myth, the turtle, has got the podium 1st place.
Sometimes the tortoise does beat the hare. And Hummersep has proved that today. No wing damage for him at all throughout that race. Look at his best time. Way slower than many, many other drivers who had to pick for fresher tyres. But Hummersep is your winner today in Division 5 from Roy Weller and Oktoberfoff rounding out the podium for Racing Point. TKeg is 4th, somehow, for Ferrari. Cookie is 5th for AlphaTauri. Very good result for the Cookie Monster. Nordy making it a good day for McLaren. Hercules 7th. Mahoney is 8th with the fastest lap. Van on base 9th. And Dan Gilligan finishing 10th. And spare a thought for poor old Karna, who was running 3rd. And it all went wrong.
The crowd are shouting for a Hummersep interview. Will we ask him?
Yeah, let's get him in if we can. Take a moment to catch your breath. Division 5 delivers entertainment, I'll give it that. Boy, oh boy.
Hello.
Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, the turtle. Hummersep, ladies and gentlemen, your Division 5 winner.
Yeah, this was the most boring and most tense race at the same time.
We were watching you through that castle chicane every time. You were counting them off, counting the times through, because you were the only driver in that race who didn't have to change your front wing.
The thing is, I wasn't afraid of that section, but Tim Alele all the time was like, "Oh, so close! What the fuck?" And he made me so nervous. And he's my race engineer, and and every time he made me so nervous at so many spots, which was quite awkward. Yeah, but yeah, it was crazy.
I think the only moment we saw was the right-hander before the chicane section. I think you took that a bit too fast, and you almost had a bit of wall contact with your front left. But I think that's the only incident we saw where you weren't bought on the line. So we were talking you up big for your clean driving, not necessarily the quickest race pace, but when it's fast and clean, things like this can happen.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward because managing a lead of like 6 seconds is so weird because you don't want to push too hard, but you also don't want to go too slow. So it was really a weird mix of trying not to bin it and also not letting the gap close.
The thing is, Nugget, you talk about not necessarily the quickest race pace, but the secret to race pace is it's to do with that time on the right-hand side there, 49 minutes and 23 seconds. Race pace is not about a hot lap, it's about who completes 27 laps in the quickest amount of time, and Hummersep comfortably did that today.
Exactly. So, how does it feel, Hummersep, for the first win? Tell everybody that's watching, how does it feel?
I don't want to win anymore. That's way too stressful.
Well,
championship
whether
lead.
you like it or not, I know. Whether you like it or not, we're going to expect you to be up there from now on.
It's also reassuring that no penalty stuff can interfere that, so I can actually be happy now and don't have to wait for steward inquiries to.
I can tip my hat to a fellow championship leader. It's all going to go wrong at some point, I imagine.
But very, very well done for you, Hummersep, as well. A great race there, and probably one of the most difficult circuits we've seen. Everybody have trouble with it all weekend, and realistically, you made it look easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Definitely.
We will let you go. We'll let you go and celebrate with your engineers and you guys and your Armenstein friends.
Yeah, I also wanted to say that I want to due to Chambly's great race engineering skills, and he told me to say that. Thank you for the cast. I will rewatch it afterwards and see you around.
There was plenty happened.
Exactly.
It was not a quiet race.
Honestly, just quickly, at the end, I was confused. I didn't realize that 9 people DNF'd. I thought maybe 5 or something. And then when I finished, I just saw 9 guys gone. That was quite crazy.
As I said, a lot happened.
Yeah.
Okay, catch you guys.
Thank you for joining us, Hummersep. Go and celebrate, mate.
Yeah, big congratulations to our winner today, Hummersep, who picks up the maximum 25 points. Nugget, which bit would you like to talk about first?
Roy Weller not getting cursed. He's a free man.
That was a good drive, to be fair, from Roy today.
It was. Big congratulations to Cookie as well. Cookie was showing a lot of pace in Monza last week and really delivered. The Cookie Monster, putting that pace to race points. Jock James, again, magnet for the penalties, not able to finish. But I think realistically, Baku, I don't know if you feel the same, Zord, but Baku was the day where those drivers we've not seen perform really did a good job. Dave, up until the end, was doing very, very well. T-Keg holding on. Kana, up until the last few laps, was in there.
I am so gutted for Kana today. I am really heartbroken for Kana today because that was, for 24 laps, a very, very good drive. But unfortunately, the race is 27 laps long. And we were saying this all week, weren't we, in the build-up? That you could produce the best race possible, and if you stuff it up on lap 26, it all counts for nothing. And I really feel for him today, because that was such a good drive, avoiding the trouble for large parts of that race, and then just not keeping it together for the full 27 laps, but you have to do it for 27 laps. It's cruel, but you have to. There's no choice.
Indeed, it is what it is, as they would say.
Well,
yeah. At least we have a free week. We've got a free week to recover after that.
This is of course the last race from FRS for the weekend, as always. And what that means is that we are done with Baku, and I'd like anyone in chat to put their hand up if they are happy to not have to race in Baku anymore. My hand is in the air.
Definitely, mine's as well. And we do, of course, have a free weekend, so the racers won't be back until a week on Friday, in which case we'll be at Mexico, I believe.
Indeed, Mexico City in 2 weeks' time. It's a racetrack, not a street circuit, so that might be good. We're back to track limit penalties as opposed to front wing penalties. But you get a week off.
Corner cutting penalties, here we go.
I don't like Mexico. Mexico is another not very good track for me, so it's a good job I've got 2 weeks to practice, not one.
Exactly. Zod, any parting words to myself in chat or predictions coming up?
Well, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. It was good fun.
We certainly enjoyed it, I must say.
That was up there with last week's, because just the first half of the race was just carnage. And the first part of the race was just about surviving and not being one of those that got caught up in all of the trouble. And those that did survive were then able to get into a race and take all of their front wings off, except Hummersep. And what we saw is a group of cars. You had Oktoberfoff lost a front wing and had to pit, and everybody else moved up ahead. And then T-Keg lost a front wing and had to pit, and Cookie lost a front wing and had to pit. And then Nordy was third, and Nordy lost a front wing and had to pit. And then Karna was third. Karna lost a front wing and had to pit. And it was just as the tyres started to get older, and maybe the concentration levels started to wane. They're not being funny as well. But when the nerves kick in as well, when you're on for a good result and you're thinking, please don't stuff this up, you're most likely to stuff it up.
But it is indeed. It was definitely a race for the viewers out there. Mirroring what you said, hope everybody that's watching it enjoyed what they saw. We will, of course, be back when it comes time to Mexico, hopefully surviving our own races before bringing you the casts for Division 5.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for tuning in all weekend, everybody, to more FRS action. We are now a quarter of the way through the season, and if a third of the way even through the season, because that was some quick maths on stream. The golden rule, never do maths on stream. So yeah, a third of the way through, and if the next 2/3 are anything like the first third, I'm very much looking forward to it. So, any final thoughts, Nugget?
I need to lie down.
I think that is about right. Guys, we will catch you in 2 weeks' time for the next race from Mexico City.